Hey guys, Jordan here. So a lot of you guys have asked me in the past, or I'm sure a lot of you have this question, that's why you came to this video. But that question is, how do I become a pro gamer? Of course, being a pro gamer is something that a lot of people that are into video games have probably thought about. Pro gaming is something that a lot of people might have thought about, but you're not too sure how you could actually become a pro gamer. You can't go to school for becoming a pro gamer. There's no course on becoming a pro gamer. I've been on the same pro team, Complexity Gaming, for 5 years now. A little bit of background about myself. The game that I became pro in, Hearthstone, I got into it during the open beta, so I was around grade 12 at the time. And I just like to play the game for fun. I just played it with my friends. I enjoyed it because I played other card games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. So it just came to me naturally. When I got into the first year of university, they started having a bit more tournaments. At the time, Hearthstone was still fresh, so a lot of the tournaments were just small community events. Like I even had to just go on like TeamSpeak where they organized the event. And yeah, I just played in a bunch of tournaments. I was starting to do well in them. I was consistently getting good results, and I was already writing content because I was already used to making content from high school because I used to make like skateboarding YouTube videos. So I just made content for the game that I played and enjoyed, and I eventually got signed by a pro team. So before I get into my main advice on how to become a pro gamer, I just kind of want to clarify what I mean by pro gamer. There's a lot of gray space in that term, and there's a lot of people that call themselves pro gamers, or there's people that might be better than those people, but they don't consider themselves pro gamers. The way I define pro gamers is someone that regularly competes in tournaments and events, and they are receiving income, not through just tournaments, but they're receiving income from pro teams, through sponsorships, etc. And there is a line between pro gamer and just content creator, because content creator is similar in that you're playing video games and you're receiving money from there, but you're not competing in high level competitions where pro gamers are. So pro gamers are people that are competing in high level events, high level competition, and they are receiving income through there. Just like any profession, I would think income is one of the main factors on becoming a pro gamer, because if you're making $0 playing video games and you're calling yourself a pro gamer, it's not really a profession, it's more of just like a hobby. So now that we got that out of the way, the first out of 3 pieces of advice that I have to say is play a lot and get consistent good results. So this is kind of obvious, but a lot of people might skip the fact that they might play in a lot of events, but maybe they're not keeping track of it. Or maybe they win a tournament, but it's only like a 20-man tournament, so they don't think it's worth their time just like recording it. But in every event you play and every event that you do like a good result, so maybe it's like a top 8, top 4, maybe you won the whole thing. If it's like a 20-person event or like a 2,000-person event, keep track of everything. The way I like to do it is, first of all, everyone that wants to get into pro gaming should do this anyways, but create a website for your own branding. So I do have my own website, you could go check it out, TheJordude.com. But basically on my About Me page, I have a list of all the achievements I have in the past for the competitive games that I play. If you don't want to make a website, you could just like keep it on like a Word or a spreadsheet document. But I really recommend having your own website because it just makes you look a lot more professional, and it's easier for pro teams when they're scouting. And it's really easy to make a website. You could just like sign up for any drag and drop website builder service, and you could just build one in like a few hours. I probably get into website building in like a separate video though. And this is something I did when I was becoming a pro gamer as well. I just kept track of all the events that I played in and all of the good results. So when I was talking to the team manager, I just basically shipped him all of the results that I've had in the past. They verified it and be like, oh wow, this guy is playing in a lot of events, so he's active and he is doing well in them, so he has a lot of potential in the pro scene. So going into my second point, and I actually think this is probably the most important point, if you want to take away anything from this video, pay attention to this. and that is creating content. So I know a lot of people that are in the pro scene, but they don't create any content. So they might be the best player in the region or in the world, and in the short term career, they're going to do really well because they're just winning a lot of tournaments, they're just farming all the tournament money. But in the long run, if they're trying to make a long-term career, if they don't create any content, they won't be sellable for teams. So teams won't sign them, so they won't earn incomes from esports organizations, and so it'll be hard for them to find sponsorships. Even independent sponsorships won't want to sign you if you're not creating any content. You have to understand that to be on a pro teams make most of their revenue through sponsorships, and sponsors want content. They want to have their pro players be seen by everyone. They want to have a fan base. So yeah, you don't have to do all forms of content. You don't have to stream, do YouTube, create guides, but I would say you should be at least doing one of them, specializing in one. So for me, for example, I would say I do a lot of YouTube content. I would actually recommend YouTube first, written guides second, because it's really easy to promote that on stuff like Reddit. And third is probably streaming. Streaming is really hard, especially if you're playing really popular games, because it might be saturated and hard to build a viewer base. So streaming, like if you're really consistent and you spend a lot of time with it, you could grow. I think you have the highest potential to grow through streaming. But YouTube is like the good middle ground where your growth is like pretty decent if you're consistent and you have quality content. And even if the game is saturated, you can still build an audience, in my opinion. Your YouTube algorithm might be a bit better rather than like Twitch if the game's completely saturated and you're just like on the very bottom of the list on the game, and then no one will be able to find you. So yeah, I would say creating content super important if you're hoping to be signed by pro team, find sponsorships, and this is very important for when you want to have a long-term healthy career. My third advice is networking. So the esports scene is, even though it's expanding at a really big pace, the pro scene and the pro organizations is actually very tight and small. Like often if you follow like esports scenes, maybe like League of Legends, Hearthstone, TFT, you often find like Twitch rivals, for example, you often see the same names again and again because they just keep getting invited to the same event. So to get into that kind of like circle jerk, it's really hard, but basically whenever you go to like networking events or you go to live tournaments or maybe meet and greets, basically just try to network with everyone you can and build a really good first impression to everyone. Because if you have a good first impression to everyone, even though you might think that that person is like not really relevant to what you want to get into, maybe that person knows someone that's in like a organization and then they could put in a good word for you. Or maybe you talk and make a good first impression to a pro player, and then later on you're talking to that team, and that team manager asks their players what they think about you, and maybe that person might remember their first impression on you and they could put in a good word for you. So networking, really don't underestimate the power of it. It could really, a good word could really go far. Also, in general, you just want to be super professional. Even though this is a gaming industry and the audience is very young, there's a lot of youth. If you don't have a professional aura around you, it's really a big turnoff for sponsors, organizations. They don't want to deal with anyone that's really unprofessional because that hurts their brand image and they won't want to take that risk. So yeah, those are my 3 pieces of advice, and probably the biggest things you want to keep in mind if you are trying to become a pro gamer. You just have to do a mix of all 3 of those, and with time and enough dedication, I'm pretty sure anyone of you guys can become a pro gamer if you desire. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this, and comment down below what games you guys like to play competitively, and if you were to become pro, which game would you want to be pro in and why. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.